everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you and talking through the process of getting a CPAP machine and why I need it. So pretty much a CPAP machine is a machine that helps someone breathe throughout the night. It's not always given to people who can't breathe completely. It is given to people who have conditions such as sleep apnea. I've been giving it for the potential that I have sleep apnea. So I had a at-home sleep study a little while ago now, about 6-ish weeks ago. I had a sleep study and they basically were quite quick with the results. So the sleep study showed that I had 2 to 3 episodes an hour per night. So I had a 2-night study. So one night was 2 per hour and the other night was 3 per hour. So from that, I was within normal ranges. Normal ranges for the place in the UK that I'm in is anything basically up to 5. So once you hit 5 or above, that's when you get diagnosed with sleep apnea and you get these machines pretty much like ASAP, as soon as possible. But because I didn't meet the criteria for sleep apnea, I had to then go through speaking to a respiratory doctor again. Now, the reason I did that was because I've still been being quite symptomatic in terms of like the symptoms for sleep apnea. And because the at-home study tests are not always 100% accurate, because it just depends on medication, it depends on what you've done throughout the day as to how well you're going to sleep, and I don't know, it also depends on different, I suppose, other factors like how big of a meal you ate or anything like that. So they spoke to me and they said, well, as you're still being symptomatic, we probably need to do a CPAP machine trial. So I thought I would just take a minute to describe some of my symptoms and some of the issues that kind of made me think that I needed a CPAP machine. Obviously, I'm going to show you how the CPAP machine was put together and how it works. I will try and insert some like clips and pictures of me and other sort of demonstrations as to like how it works and stuff. So basically I've been having these symptoms for probably about a year, maybe 18 months, where I just haven't been sleeping properly. And I know because I've pretty much been waking up and I've just been like, when can I go back to bed? And that is the biggest question I would ask myself. Is I'd wake up in the morning feeling a little bit refreshed but not really at all, and it would be almost like I'd be awake, I'd have some breakfast and then I'd want to go straight back into bed, and I wouldn't want to, do anything. I wouldn't want to have, and it was impacting on things like my work. It was impacting on just my general, like, even just the things like my pain level and my tiredness level and all these bits and pieces, which obviously impact on your productivity, your motivation, all these bits and pieces. I spoke to my GP. So in the UK we have like general practitioners, which are our first line of contact for any sort of medical issues or medical complaints. So I went to my GP, I said, like, I've had these symptoms and like I think it might be sleep apnea, but obviously I understand you've got to test me and all these bits and pieces and everything like that, but pretty much I said to them, I think it could be sleep apnea. And he did what was called, I think it's an Epworth score, I'm not entirely sure. That might be some other conversation, but pretty much they did a test and he basically said to me, okay, how long I slept a night and did I wake up feeling tired or did I wake up feeling somewhat refreshed? And from the quiz, I scored a highly likely for having sleep apnea. So I'm going into this hoping that I am going to be a lot more refreshed and therefore be able to, I don't know, like just do a lot more throughout the day, get a lot more content for you guys and just feel able to do it rather than just being like, oh, I just feel way too tired to do anything. So in the place where I live, they have been transferring all the appointments you don't need to go into the hospital for to like a drive-through service. So for people who don't drive, it's obviously a bit more awkward. I don't drive, so therefore I have had to pretty much just walk down the little coned off area. When you get there, they ask you to remove your face mask, so the masks that we wear out in public, just for a second, and so they can measure your face as to what CPAP mask to give you. So everyone will get a machine, but obviously different people have different size faces, therefore they have different size masks. So this is the mask I was given. They say that they always start you on they like to start you on a full flow mask, which is one of these, and I'll show you what the side looks like. So basically it goes right the way around your face, and it has basically whatever flow is going through the machine, all of it is going through the mask basically. I am a bit apprehensive, but I'm also very happy that I'm finally hopefully going to be getting a solution to my problem. So, as I said, this is the mask. Let's get into the actual back. So, the first thing I've pulled out is you get this tubing, which I'm assuming one end goes onto the machine and one end goes onto the mask. So we'll have a look at that. You then have this device, which, to be honest, reminds me of like an old school radio. It reminds me of like a radio that you would get, as I said, when I was like young, and you'd get a radio this size, yes. It looks a lot more up to date than I thought it would have looked, because I don't know why I thought it was going to look old school, but yeah. And then they give you a power cable. So this one looks like a laptop cable. So this has got the little block and the bit that goes into the machine, and then there's the other piece that obviously comes out of the block and goes into the wall. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this half of the cable that's got the block on it, and I'm going to put what looks like a laptop charger, not gonna lie, but that will go into the back of the machine, so like this. And then I'm going to take the other cable, so the one with the 3-pin plug on it, and this little side of it, and I'm going to put that inside of the block that came with the other half. So it basically goes machine, block, 3-pin. Okay, so this is the table beside my bed. As you can see, I've kind of cleared it off a little bit. This is the table and how I've kind of done it now. CPAP machine, there's a cable going out. I've tried to neaten up these cables as much as I can, and then I've plugged it in. I'm going to put the tubing on now, and I shall show you the tubing and the process of that. So what it came with this clear piece separately from the tubing. So as you said, this is the tubing, and I'm just going to connect it to the machine. So it just goes into the back end of the machine here. I'm going to try and give you the best view that I can, but basically it just pushes in. But basically the back of the machine looks like that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a few inserts from my Fitbit app. So I have a Fitbit Charge 3, and basically I've got the premium version of Fitbit, so it gives me my sleep analytics, and it basically gives me a sleep score. So it measures how long I'm in deep sleep, how long I'm in what they call REM sleep, which I'm assuming is like a middle ground, and then how long I'm in light sleep, and then how much I'm awake. So those 4 things, and then a combination of how long I spend in both or all those sections of sleep gives me a sleep score. So I will go ahead and I will talk through some of the most recent things that most recent nights I've had, and I will put up a score, like the actual overall score, and I will hopefully try and talk about some of the nights I've had, and then I'll give you an average, and then we'll see if it improves with 3 nights of doing sleep with the sleep apnea machine. But basically my sleep score was 68, which is classed as fair. So this is out of 100, this is a percentage of how well you slept. So I got 37 points out of 50 for my time asleep. So I was asleep for 4 hours and 49 minutes with 29 minutes awake. I then look at the deep and REM. So if I click into that, you can actually see what was spent where and kind of like what was going on. So actually I spent 18% in deep, I spent 61% of my sleep in light, 10% in REM and 9% awake. So it does say that deep and REM are the two that are like worth 25% of the score. But basically they say you need to try and spend more time in like your deep sleep, and your basically your muscles relax and repair themselves, blood pressure drops. It's a good thing, and energy is restored when you're in deep sleep. But if you're not hitting that deep sleep enough, that's obviously when you're going to have the issue. But if you're not able to hit that deep sleep because you keep like waking yourself up because of the sleep apnea, this is why people are getting treated, and I'm getting treated, for example, with this machine. And then restoration. So my heart rate did get down fairly low in this one. So I'm going to put up a average of those 3 days on the screen now, so you can see the score I'm trying to get better than. I'm trying to get better than this average in the 3 days that I'm going to be using my sleep apnea machine. Let's go to bed and let's see if my sleep is any better tonight. So it has been a couple of weeks since having my CPAP, and I just read a letter from my doctor, well, the doctor who's overseeing my care with my CPAP machine, and I hadn't posted the CPAP trial video yet, so I kind of thought, well, why not put this little bit on the end as I'm recording and as I have an update. So I had an update from the doctor, and basically she turned around and said that it was a virtual appointment, so they reviewed, because they can see it remotely, they can see like the stats and how many episodes of like disturbed sleep I have a night, and they can see like how often I'm using it, how long I'm using it for, like, so yeah, so basically they can monitor my progress just at the hospital. I don't even need to go there, which is actually like really good. But I received a letter from that doctor online, and it was like a electronic version of the letter, and basically she just said that I'm doing really well, the CPAP seems to be helping, and they're going to leave it how it is for now for another, I think she said 6 weeks, and then they'll review again in 6 weeks. She said that if I have any concerns or any issues, then of course I can contact the hospital sooner. So that's it for today's video, for the CPAP video in general. I know there's been quite a few like clips like sort of being thrown into this video, but it was quite hard to be able to film it all the time, like everything straight away. Obviously I did the main bulk of the filming where I was like setting it up and bits and pieces, but I obviously couldn't film how I was feeling on that first day because I hadn't even used the machine. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you have basically gained some knowledge about a CPAP machine, and also knowledge about some of the signs and symptoms of sleep apnea. But please don't take all of this for face value, because my symptoms of sleep apnea could be different, or you might not have all the ones I have and you might have some other symptoms. So it's always best to contact your healthcare provider or your GP if you're in England. But thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.